Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have a special guest with us. We have Congressman Mike Lawler. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone, and we really appreciate this. It's an honor for us.
My pleasure.
All right, so we're going to start with questions right away. We say questions, but it's going to be more of like we're going to talk. We're going to get to know you more so the people behind the camera can know you more as well. Everybody knows you as a member of Congress, but we want to know more the person behind the title. So if the politics were completely left out of the frame, how would you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm a husband and father of two young daughters, lifelong Rockland County resident, somebody who grew up and really enjoyed where I live and have never left. I think for me, the community that I live in Rockland County is one that is very tight-knit. There's always like one degree of separation. I kind of almost feel like I'm in my wife's country of Moldova in the village. Like everybody knows everybody. But it's for me, I'm somebody who cares deeply about the work that I do, but in putting the politics aside, being in public service is deeply rewarding on a personal level and a professional level. Being able to help people with whatever their challenge is, and for me, one of the things that I'm most proud of is the work that my staff has been able to do to serve the district and to represent folks across the community and really address whatever their needs are, what their concerns are. We've closed almost 10,000 cases for constituents, brought back over $50 million in benefits due, brought back over $80 million in community project funding. That's the work that I think, you take the politics out of it, people appreciate and recognize. And on a personal level, I think all of us come at these issues based on our own personal experiences. I lost my dad when I was 26 years old, and the very last conversation that we had, he said to me, "To whom much is given, much is required." You've been given a lot of skills and talents.
Exactly.
Use them to do God's work and always keep your moral compass. And so, that's something that drives me as I do this work. And, unfortunately, we live in a very charged political environment right now. And people obviously are angry or upset or have very strong opinions about things. And I think we've gotten to a place where people are more interested in dehumanizing the opposition than
Especially lately,
than trying to find solutions.
Criticize or something like.
For me, it's I love the work that we're doing more than anything else.
Thank you.
Let's go back a little bit on time. You grew up here in Hudson Valley. What was young Mike Lawler like? You were always interested in leadership, or you were completely different?
So I grew up in Rockland County.
I'm not going to ask you how old are you.
I'll be 40 in September.
All right.
I grew up in Rockland County in Nanuet till the time I was 12, and then I moved to Suffern, Montebello. Went to Suffern High School, but I think my personality that you see today is very much shaped at a young age.
Oh, okay.
I used to growing up in Nanuet, we'd go to Lake Nanuet. It was a town pool. and they called me the junior lifeguard because I would always wear my red bathing suit and like go mingle with all the lifeguards, and I always gravitated towards adults when I was younger, and would talk to anybody. When we would go to the beach, I'd be my cousins would be making bracelets, and I'd go sell them, and we'd make money. But I think my personality is such that I've always been very outspoken, very, I'm sure opinionated, some would say. But I very much, the person I am today, I was when I was younger.
Where we come from, most of the people are opinionated, so it's like a regular thing.
Yes, for sure.
Everybody has opinion for something.
Yes, of course.
So we spoke briefly about your upbringing, and you mentioned your father, and he's saying earlier, but what values from your childhood and your family have stayed with you the most?
Well, my parents always taught us, my brother and I, treat others how you want to be treated. Love thy neighbor as thyself. And I think, they always taught us, my brother and I, to speak up and speak out for the things we believe in, and always pursue whatever we wanted to do in life. My parents were always very supportive. They were not, they were never really negative on anything we wanted to do or aspired to be, and really tried to let us find our own way as we work through school and life. But I think above all, doing the right thing. I mean, my dad was a recovering alcoholic, and he was sober for almost 20 years when he died. And he had a saying, do the next right thing, and you'll make mistakes. You'll make bad decisions in your life, or say things that you may regret. But there's always a path forward to do the next right thing, and so that's something that I certainly value and recognize, and especially in politics. Nobody's perfect, and none of us are infallible. At the end of the day, we all make mistakes, and I don't know why, generally speaking, in politics, people expect perfection. Or that you're going to agree with a politician on everything. You're not. It's not realistic. And so I think recognizing that, but always striving to do better. And again, I go back to what my dad said to me right before he died. It's just something that I carry with me.
You mentioned early on you are husband and the father of 2 daughters. How has become a father, like I'm father too, and Anita, we are parents, and when you're gonna get a parent, you're gonna be like completely different. You're gonna think differently. How this thing changed you in the leadership and for the future and the politics and everything?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I think being a parent is certainly the most rewarding title and job that anyone will ever have. And it's your greatest responsibility. Exactly. You have these precious lives that you're molding and helping guide and shape, and watching my daughters grow and watching their personalities develop and shine through certainly is a great joy. Sure. But I think from the standpoint of obviously the work that I'm doing, you want to shape and leave a better world for your children and for everybody's kids. And I think, as I look at my 2 daughters, want them to be strong and independent and intelligent and articulate, And we're seeing them do that. You know, my wife is from Moldova, and her parents live with us. And one of the great things has been, you know, the fact that my in-laws speak to them fluently in Romanian.
Romania.
And so, you know, both of my children are 4 and 21 months and speaking fluent Romanian
I'm jealous,
in
mate.
addition to English. You know, and so watching their minds, you know, be able to absorb all that, and it's really been awesome to watch. So, you know, I think fatherhood, or, you know, being a parent certainly changes you in so far as what your priorities are, and you know, watching them develop and helping teach them and guide them, and you know, being able to spend time. We just went to Cape Cod for a week, and being able to enjoy the beach with them, and, you know, take my daughter out on the jetty and build sandcastles and swim, and, you know, all of that are great memories to build together.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm sure your involvement, as you might know, takes a lot of time, involvement in politics. But is there something outside of politics that you're really passionate about?
So unfortunately, many of the things that I previously have been passionate about have kind of gone by the wayside with this job.
Don't complain.
No, listen, I signed up for it, so it's you know, the thing that I don't think people fully understand or appreciate about politics and government is it is very time consuming.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, for me in a district like this, that's, you know, up every 2 years, it's 7 days a week. So, you know, I love to play golf. You know, maybe a few times a year I ultimately get to. You know, I love to go to the beach. You know, other than this past week, that's about the extent of my my ability to go to the beach. You know, my wife and I, before we had kids, would hike a lot. You know, that's gone by the wayside. So I think part of it is, you know, I love going to sporting events, Yankee games, Giants games, Ranger games. That's kind of out the window. So it's you know, for me, I believe in the work I'm doing, so I've dedicated my time to it, and, you know, there's a toll that takes, both on a family side, but also on kind of your personal life. So,
Being a congressman, you spend more time here locally, or even in the DC too?
So it's a mix. We're usually in Washington about 3 weeks out of the month. Monday through Thursday, Tuesday through Friday. So, you know, I travel down on a Monday morning or a Monday afternoon. We have votes in the evening, and then, you know, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, morning votes on Thursday, fly home, and then I'm running around the district, you know, and then, like right now in the month of August, we're on the quote unquote August recess.
Wow.
You're running around the district, you know. So, you know, we've done over 2,000 in-person events over the last 3.5 years in district, in addition to all the meetings and all the days I've spent in Washington. So.
Wow. Okay. What is something about you that like people know you through the politics? What's one thing that can surprise them they don't know? Usually, like people, I'm not talking from locally, but people from the TV or like DC or whatever, or Albania, general, they don't know you.
Right.
What's the thing?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm a pretty open book insofar as I say what's ever on my mind, and I'm not shy, and I'm not shy to share things. You know, I think when I look at kind of the direction of where I thought my career in life would go, this is not exactly it. I wanted to go get my law degree. I wanted to be a criminal prosecutor. I also wanted to go into the OCS for the Navy and become a naval JAG officer. And I wanted to become a sports broadcaster.
Oh my God! Look at that.
So I had big dreams and high hopes, and here I am in politics.
All right.
So.
We used to have the broadcaster, the WNBA, the woman that was here.
Yeah. Sports broadcaster. I love people who have a great voice. And
Which you do, by the way.
Who does?
You,
Me?
yes.
I do.
Yes.
It's because it's deep and
Yes.
loud.
Yes. So, since we are in a bookstore, and for anybody who doesn't know through the camera, Libri is also a bookstore located in Westchester County, Yorktown Heights, New York.
Come visit.
Yes. If we would walk into your home and looked at your bookshelf right now, what book or author you might think would surprise us?
Well, right now it's like littered with kids' books.
Anyway,
I love reading to my daughters, and they love to read. We don't have TV in the house for them. They don't watch TV. We don't have iPads for them. We read and play. And my mother-in-law was a teacher for elementary school, so she's a big help in keeping them entertained throughout the day without the use of TV. So they love to read. So we read a lot of children's books. And actually, there's a great author from Britain called Shirley Hughes, and there's these great series of children's books that she's written about different characters, and they all appear throughout all the different books. But I love biographies. I love political biographies, especially around the presidents. And I love biographies broadly about people, in history. I also love books about how things are made or how things work.
Engineering.
And I love. My family is all a bunch of engineers, and I love watching documentaries about how things are made and how they work.
Since we are in a bookstore, so is there one book that has had a significant impact on the way you see the world and how we live? Sometimes we have books, they tell you what to do or help you with spiritual things, stuff like that. Do you have any?
Yeah, a book I read after my dad died, which he had given to me for Christmas the year before, was The Shack, and it was made into a movie shortly after the book came out, but effectively it was about loss and faith. And I think at the end of the day, we live in a fascinating time in history and a fascinating time to be alive, as they say. But I think you have to have some level of spiritual grounding.
Exactly.
You don't have to be religious necessarily. You don't have to belong to an organized faith. Yeah. But you do, I think, to truly get the most out of life, you do have to have some spiritual grounding. And so I do like to read, that. I also read the Bible on a daily basis, 365 day, breakdown of the Bible. But I think having some type of spiritual foundation matters. So, and there's so many books that do that and tie into that. But I would say the shack really in that moment, especially after my dad died, it was a good way to restore your faith and after you go through, some type of significant loss.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So you mentioned that you have a lot of biographies, that you like biographies. Is there any any historical figure or leader that you find their life really fascinating?
Well, my favorite president is Ronald Reagan. So I always enjoy reading books about his life. But I think when you look back, certainly within history, John Adams is a fascinating figure in American history. Ben Franklin, Abraham Lincoln. But I love books on Teddy Roosevelt. Mm-hmm. TR is a character, a New York original in many respects. But I love, certainly people that have outsized personalities, but also, really do the work, and use their skills and talents and hone them and work at them and develop them.
Thank you.
You mentioned Ronald Reagan, but I have a question. If you could sit down over the coffee with any politician or any historian in a history, even doesn't need to be a politician, mm-hmm. who would be, and what would you say or ask him?
So I think I have multiple answers to mm-hmm. this. From a political standpoint, I would love to sit down with Reagan and have a real nuanced conversation about his view of America and its role in the world today. And kind of where we are almost 40 years after he left office, kind of where we are today. My childhood, idols, if you will, mm-hmm. Were, I'll say, four different people. Michael Jackson, Mark Messier, who was a captain of the New York Rangers, mm-hmm. Derek Jeter, and Hulk Hogan. So I used to love wrestling.
Oh my God! You used to watch all.
I used to watch wrestling all the time as a kid. So I was so upset when he died last year because I had wanted to meet him, and I was we were.
He was hero for all of us.
Oh yeah, listen, he was an American hero, But those four would be an interesting conversation.
Wow.
It would be interesting, having them all in one room, definitely. Politics can be extremely personal. Mm-hmm. How do you prevent the political environment from changing you mm-hmm. as a person?
It's hard. I pride myself on listening, engaging people. I'll talk to anybody, even people who strongly disagree with me, and I try to find commonality. I try to find ways to work together. My best friend in Congress is a Democrat, Josh Gottheimer. We work together on things all the time. We agree on a lot of things. But we live in such a charged political environment where the moment you disagree with somebody, they ascribe every nasty adjective under the sun. And people seem less inclined to want to find compromise. They'll say they want bipartisanship. They'll say they want to work together, but they want people who reaffirm their views no matter what. And, people, I find, for instance, like the whole no kings. But so many of those people don't want to hear opposing political points of view. They prefer absolutism. They prefer that there be no opposition. Well, the very thing they're decrying, they seem to gravitate towards. And so to me, we live in a moment where obviously no matter what you do or what you say or how you try to work through the issues, we're in a very divided moment. But my fundamental view is to show up, to engage, to try and find constructive solutions. And, for me, I'm nothing if I'm not blunt and direct. And, nobody ever has to guess where I stand on something. I'm very clear about where I stand on things. And I'm not afraid to own my position. But, it's obviously it's a moment in which if you spend your time, focused on what people say about you or what is posted on social media about you, you drive yourself crazy. Please. So I try to ignore most of it.
Are you more friendly behind the scenes, guys?
I think look, I talk to everybody. Yeah. When we're on the House floor, I spend more time on the Democratic side than I do the Republican side because I want to engage with people. And I do fundamentally believe that in order to get anything done, it's driven by relationships. No matter what it is, whether it's marriage, whether it's business, whether it's politics, it's relationship driven. And you have to be able to engage. And so, I think for a lot of people behind the scenes, they're a little bit more
relaxed.
Yeah, relaxed and willing to engage. I try to do that at all times because I think fundamentally, if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah, exactly. So
you mentioned your friend from opposition. Is there been a conversation with someone from the opposite side or party that genuinely changed your perspective on some issue, like they convince you with something or agree?
I think a lot of times what it is less about changing your total perspective on something, but more so about being able to find compromise and recognizing that you're not going to get 100% of what you want. So how do you, if you're interested in actually legislating and you want to negotiate, that means there's a give and a take. And if you understand that, if you recognize that, and anybody who's ever been married knows, if you want to stay married, there's a give and a take. Like that, certainly matters. Yeah. And so I think it's not necessarily like, oh, you completely changed my perspective on it, though that happens. I think a lot of it more is about like, okay, where can I push you and where can you push me to, and how do we kind of meet in the middle?
Yeah, we have this issue back home in Kosovo. They need to talk more each other so they can do something because they stuck on this kind of thing.
But I think that's true. I think that's true broadly speaking. I think people have just gotten, and part of it's the media and part of it's the social media.
Oh, yeah.
It makes it harder for people to engage constructively behind the scenes because everything is like so instantaneous. And it's like if you're even trying to find compromise, you get attacked for it.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about the Congress. What has surprised you most about the Congress that you didn't fully understand? until you become a member of it?
I'd say two things. One, for so many people, it's so performative. It's just like, how do I get a click, or how do I get on, some attention, or how do I say some of the craziest shit that, will get people all riled up. So a lot of it is performative rather than, driven by the policy itself, or even the politics. I think the other part of it is just, especially in a district like mine, it's a 7-day-a-week job. You're never off, and it's it's a grind. I mean, I love it. I love the work. I love nearly every aspect. I mean, heck, I even like fundraising. I'm not like I enjoy the job, but it's a lot, and it takes a toll on your family and even your health. Like, I'd love to work out every day. There's no time.
What was the hardest part in your job, and you question yourself, I'm done, I cannot do it anymore? Did you come in this point sometimes?
I haven't reached that point. If I ever reach that point, that's when it's time to go. I'm not jaded by it. Look, there's days where it is a grind, and it can be physically and mentally and emotionally draining. But I love what I do. And the moment you get to a point where you don't care, or you're not fully invested, you got to step away from it. This is a service. It is not, some of my colleagues, they've been there 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, Chuck Schumer's been in office 52 years. Go home. It is a service. And, I think, if I'm going to be 40, if I'm doing this at 80 years old, God, take me out back. Like,
I'm done.
Yeah, I have zero intention. You can mark my words. 40 years from now, you can bank on the fact that I will not be in elected office.
Imagine talking after 40 years.
Oh my God.
All right, so we would like to turn the attention of the conversation to something that is very meaningful for our community. And that's a resolution. So earlier this year, you joined Representatives Keith Self and Richie Torres in introducing a resolution supporting Kosovo's integration into NATO. Why was this personally important for you to put your name on it?
Well, Kosovo's been a great ally of the United States for 30 years plus, and one of my predecessors, Elliot Engel, was very involved in issues pertaining to Kosovo and Albania, and this is something that here in Westchester County in New York, we have a large Albanian American community, and obviously issues related to Kosovo are of concern to them. And to me, fundamentally, when you look at Russia's influence in Eastern Europe, in the Balkans, obviously the dynamics with Serbia, getting more allies in NATO and strengthening those relationships, I think, matters. And Kosovo has been a great partner to the United States on many issues, including militarily. And I think getting them integrated into NATO is an important step forward.
You question State Department officials about European countries that still do not recognize Kosovo, and how that affect Kosovo path toward the EU and NATO integration. What convinced you that to talk with official and to push the thing? Do you know a lot of Albanians from Kosovo here, or how did you here, and what came to you?
Well, like I said,
Because a lot of people, they don't know where is the Kosovo. Kosovo is a really small. We are from Kosovo too, so it's a really small country. A lot of people, they don't know where it is. But
well, my wife coming from Moldova, which is also a relatively small country, and a lot of people have no idea where it is on the map. But it is, they're on a similar dynamic. They're trying to get EU integration, and I'm the chair of the Moldova caucus. And I understand for a lot of these smaller countries, especially, getting that EU integration is critical. And especially if we want to beat back Russian influence in the region, strengthening those relationships matters. So it's not only understanding it from the standpoint of that, but like I said before, in this district, Elliot Engel previously was very focused on these issues and represented a portion of my district. I know he represented a portion of Richie Torres's district too. And then, of course, we do have a large and vibrant Albanian American population here in Westchester County, and I've talked with many of my constituents extensively about these issues. So, there's a number of factors that were behind it.
So, the resolution you presented describes Kosovo's democratic governance. It describes civilian oversight, security forces, multi-ethnic coexistence as a part of the case for the NATO membership. What do you believe Kosovo has achieved over 25 years that the international community often overlooks?
Well, I think Kosovo has really, been successful in rooting out a lot of the corruption and the remnants of Soviet influences in the region. I think certainly from the standpoint of the relationship with the United States, they've been a great partner and worked to really help us in our needs and interests in Europe and the Middle East and elsewhere. And I think whenever we have, needed help or assistance, they've been extremely responsive. But I think the international community and Europe, writ large, I think has often made a big mistake in not more aggressively trying to bring the Balkans or Eastern Europe towards Western democracy. And, this is why, for me, Moldova, matters a lot. You look at the ties between Moldova with Romania, and Romanian being the only Latin language in Eastern Europe, and Romania being a key ally in so many ways in the EU and NATO. Getting Moldova brought into that is critical. And simultaneously, when you look in the Balkans, strengthening the ties between the EU and NATO with Kosovo and others in the region is critical. And especially given what has happened in Ukraine over the last 4 years with Russia. So I think a big part of this really is recognizing the importance of the moment. I think Europe has, frankly, missed the boat in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And they've waited way too long over the years to really pull some of these countries into the fold and help them. So there's still a lot of work to do, obviously.
Before to continue to another question, I want to thank you in the name of my people in Kosovo for the work you're doing with the resolution and everything. It matters for us. Like I said, we are a small country. It matters a lot, and I want to thank you.
My pleasure. Thank
you. From your perspective, would Kosovo joining in NATO actually reduce the possibility to another conflict in the Balkans, creating like a strong security thing?
Yeah, I think obviously there continues to be strife and challenges with Serbia. I think strengthening those relationships economically and militarily are an important deterrence from aggression or election interference or other types of actions that undermine and destabilize the government in Kosovo. So I think it's the same thing like with Moldova. Russia tried to interfere in their most recent elections, and it didn't work because we've been working closely with the government there, and Maya Sandu has been working to get Moldova on the path to EU ascension. So Kosovo is on the right path, but we need to get this moving more, and across the finish line. And for the long term, I think it's critical for them.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we spoke about a lot of stuff. Your upbringing, Mike Lawler, behind the politics.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about the Congress, politics in general, Kosovo, which falls into global geopolitics.
Mm-hmm.
We believe here at Libri that stories connect people who might otherwise never understand one another.
Mm-hmm.
So now we understand from the conversation why you're so open to talking to everybody, regardless of their views. What story from your own life do you think explains Mike Lawler better than any political biography?
For me, I think there's a pivotal moment, and there's a few inflection points in my life, but I'll say 3 of them that I think really define me and help shape me. One, when I was in 2nd grade, my 2nd grade teacher, she was a Russian immigrant, Anna Petrov, went to my parents and said, Michael's smart, but he's immature. I was a September birthday, so I was one of the younger people in my class, and she said he would benefit from the gift of time. He would benefit from staying back a year. And my parents ultimately decided that they would do it under one condition, that she was my teacher again. And that was not the program. They would give you a new teacher. And my parents said, well, then we're not leaving him back. And so ultimately they did, the school agreed, and they left me back to repeat 2nd grade. And I went from being the youngest in the class to the oldest in the class. And that extra year gave me so much time to develop, to mature, to really understand. And so school became much easier to me. And I think it showed me the importance of education, but also that, my teacher at that time took direct interest in my future and what mattered, and how I could benefit from that. And ultimately I went on to college and became valedictorian in my class. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't get left back. And I think school would have been harder, and I think life would have been harder. And so that was an inflection point for me in terms of my abilities to process and develop. Second for me was September 11th. I was in my 5th day of freshman year of high school on 9/11. It's hard to believe it'll be 25 years ago next month. But that was a defining moment, certainly for so many people around here. But it really got me so entirely interested in what was going on in the world in government and politics, and that kind of put me on this trajectory of being interested in what happens and public policy and how it shapes what happens in the world. So that was certainly an inflection point, and I went on to intern for John McCain in 2008 while I was in college, and that kind of created this snowball of where I am today. But the third thing, really was the experience I had when my dad died. My parents, I was finishing my senior year of college. My parents had their life savings stolen from them in a Ponzi scheme. And my dad ended up getting multiple sclerosis and then cancer. And it was 5 years of hell for them. And I had moved home to help them and be there. And so, it really, going through that experience definitely shaped me in a lot of ways. I saw the ups and downs and the highs, the lows, the good things in life and the bad things in life, all in a very short period of time. And certainly helps inform me as I grapple with what others are going through and how to help them.
Anita, I think you finished with a question. I have one more, please.
Yes, sir.
Usually we interview authors, like artists, even public figures, storytellers. But about you, did you thought you can write a book? And if you're gonna write that book, what the story will be?
I do want to write a book.
This is good.
I do want to write a book. I don't know when I'll have time to do it, but I do want to do it. I think it would very much be centered around my relationship with my dad, and the recognizing the impact that your parents have on your life, and how not only they shape you, but circumstances shape you.
Did you have the title? Not yet.
Did
you think about it?
The courage to change.
Promise you're gonna do the book launch at Libri here.
You got it.
That's you. Thank you so much,
Thank you
my
so
guy.
much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
you.
Appreciate it.